or 3rd down and 51 in effect from the 49-yard line. Pete launching it, looking for a tip, and instead it's Deion with the interception. And Deion was thinking about getting up and running it back 96.
He was not doubled.
No, and he made that move.
Yep.
And McDaniel just held him just long enough on that outside move.
Hostetler going deep. Picked off by Deion Sanders. And Sanders back inside the Raider 40 to the 30. Out of bounds at about the 28. Ishmael knocked him out of bounds.
Jerry Jones is saying that's what he paid him $35 million for. We were talking about momentum. We were talking about big game players. We were talking about playmakers. We said Emmitt Smith was one. We know that Michael Irvin is one, and Deion Sanders is one. Because, you know, he had a step on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was beaten by a step, but there's probably no faster player in the NFL than Deion Sanders. And I'll tell you, he has great catch-up speed. Just watch him here. I mean, he's there. You see, right there, he's a few steps behind, but by the time the ball gets there, he's right there with.
Out of 11 on 3rd down. 3 wide receivers for the Eagles. Cunningham back to throw it. Picked off by Deion Sanders.
He was out of bounds. He tried to lateral it after he was out of bounds.
But the Cowboys do get the ball.
Something's broken out over there. One thing about Deion, when he does get the ball, you know, whether you like him or you kind of like him or you don't like him, he does cause excitement.
He does do that. Here's the interception.
Even if he's inbounds or out of bounds, he's covering Calvin Williams here. Gets a good jump. That's that out that I was talking about, that he'll jump, and he jumped it then, made the move, goes out of bounds, and says, now maybe I'll lateral it.
And Ricky Waters, his old teammate that slung him to the ground.
Yeah, but watch him get the jump on this out. I mean, he was ready to jump right in front of it. Now he got that high step.
Period of time as a starter. 16 games. 3rd down and 10 from the 32-yard line as Pete throws a wobbler, and it's picked off by Deion Sanders, and then he shovels the ball off to George Teague, and the Cowboys are back in business at the 34-yard line. Well, and Rodney Peete goes down.
Well, that's a pattern you wouldn't expect Rodney Peete, who's not really a strong-armed quarterback, to challenge Deion Sanders. Is that turn into the sideline? You're talking about the cornerback with the greatest burst to the football in the National Football League. And guys like John Elway and Dan Marino aren't interested in challenging him on that pattern.
Rodney should have read that right away.
Yeah.
He had all kinds of blue jerseys over there. And Deion was in perfect position. He had help deep. He was going to play that tight. Rodney should
Give it to someone who'll take it.
Well, we got some guys who will take it.
But don't about that offensive line.
Yeah, they'll take it.
They've never turned down a meal in their life.
Is picked off by Deion Sanders. Dallas ball at midfield.
Now this is when it's fun for an offensive lineman. You see Nate Newton, he had a big smile.
Yep.
Go put that hat back on. You know you won the game.
If you're Minnesota, among the dilemmas you have is what do you do at quarterback at this point at the 35-yard line? Johnson throws, that dilemma continues as Deion Sanders takes it to the 21-yard line.
Al, this has moved well beyond a dilemma. This has moved into the catastrophe category. This is no longer a dilemma.
I think it's gone from catastrophe to debacle. That ball thrown behind the receiver right into the hands of Deion. He had to catch that ball out of self-defense. He's in a zone. He'll just pass him off right here to the linebacker. There's a little collision there, but right into the arms of Deion. Question is, did that collision...
An objective program for concussions rather than just, you know, whatever the guy says he feels.
2nd and 8. Young. Pass is picked off as he tried to screen it. It's Deion Sanders, and Sanders is upended by Young. Steve Young Sanders picked off the screen pass and puts Dallas back in business.
Watch this tackle here by Steve Young. He knows that he's the last guy, and if he doesn't get him, no one is going to get Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders.
Also live from Green Bay, and this is picked off by Deion Sanders. Deion out-racing Brett Favre as a touchdown.
Let's just watch. Here's Deion Sanders right here. And again, you expect that you're going to run him off. And you just watch him. You see, he's just playing zone, 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 just sitting square, looking back at Brett Favre. Brett Favre expected him to be run off. Brett Favre expected him to have his back. Deion Sanders was just sitting there, and he threw it right to him.
Houston.
You know what? I don't know if Danny Cannell could have gotten a tackle here because somebody would have to peel him off the ground. That's about the 15th time that he's been leveled. And I'm not talking about hit guys. I am talking about leveled.
At the 24. Trent Green getting time, and his pass intercepted. It was intended for Asher, and here's Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders returns it to the 21-yard line on an errant throw way over the head of Jamie Asher.
He just missed. Had nothing to do with anything. It wasn't great coverage by Deion. It was just a bad throw. You watch Shepard, he's just going to go up, and Deion stays with him. He's reading back underneath. Nice job by Sanders because he sees in his coverage that it's poorly thrown. He just pulls off and comes back underneath. The ball sails over the head of the intended receiver. I think it almost slipped off his hand. Asher was running underneath. Bad throw.
It's 14 Dallas. Just over 2 minutes to go. 27-20. The Cowboys lead by 7. Burline picked off by Deion Sanders. Makes the move in front of Mark Carrier. A beautiful play. And returns it about 20 yards before finally, he is brought to earth. Burline wondering,
This is a Monday Night Football game, thus played in prime time. Deion Sanders front and center. After the game, he said, I think I was born on Monday night. 40th career interception for Deion, Hoying with the pick and the tackle on the...
Deion Sanders limping. Cowboys in. It's a game for first place. Jake Plummer picked off by Deion. Dives out at the 2-yard line. Sets up Emmett's second touchdown of the day. 28-6
On this drive.
Quick drop. Lobs the end zone. It is intercepted. Intercepted by Deion Sanders. The first time they throw Deion's way today, and he gets a pick.
Not a good decision by Dan Marino. There's 2 defenders out there. He takes a chance. Deion Sanders, with perfect technique, makes the interception. Field.
Gone. Marino going to throw. It is intercepted by Deion Sanders.
Well, let me eat my words. Deion Sanders singled up on the sideline. Dan Marino, we told you, he loves to throw the ball hard before the defender can turn around. Well, Deion Sanders has seen that, well, he's seen it a few times in his life. And the ball's in the air, and he turns and looks for the ball and makes the play. Dan Marino, he just, really not a bad throw on his part. Oh, he says, kiss me, coach. Yes.